Video rolling. Can one of you do the slate? Thank you. Okay. All right. So let's start with, are you still friends?
Yes.
Was this the first film you made together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, starting with Gabor, how that came about. You hadn't worked together before, right?
No, we lived in the same street in front of each other, two buildings, and I knew Ferry's film director. Once I saw him to direct a scene in our street. It was a funny scene. But when I came out with this short story in one of the leading magazine in Hungary, and after I showed it to him, this story, Ferenc wanted to make a film because he realized it's an important story. And his very first reaction was, well, it's a Western.
And after 2005 or 4, I read a book of Gabor. I love this story. The title was Homecoming, and I called Gabor. Maybe it's a possibility to make a script about this, because not really dialogues, but really good dramatic period, good characters, good conflicts. So in 3 hours in summertime, like in a high noon, train arriving in a small village, so it's easy to tell the story. It was really visual. When you read, it's just simple pictures about the way of the Jews and the village characters, and then I feel this motifs when people in the windows looking the two strangers. So it's really good for the cinema. Important structure of this parallel structures, the way of the Jews and the village, and back the way and back the village. So the first half an hour is a kind of a suspense. The gossip started in the village. Who is this two strangers who arrived with the train? So this is really a kind of a thriller.
What is the villagers' primary fear when they spot these two Orthodox Jews with a horse and cart and 2 crates?
They are afraid they have to give back the property what they got from the local government
which belonged to the Jews.
Which belonged to former villagers, the Jews. And that was a very dirty thing that the state and the local government gave the property of the deported Jews by discounted auctions to the local villagers and to other people in the country and in several places in Europe, and this made them part of the game, made them part of the very discriminative process, and made them compatriots with the state in the process of
collaborators.
Collaborators, yes, yes.
Right. Maybe you could talk a bit about the Kuster character, the one who hung himself. Why was he feeling so guilty?
Well, in the original story, he lost his arm before the story as a worker on the fields, so in a way, he's handicapped. He has 5 sons, 1 lost in the war, and because their handicapped situation and loss of the son, he got the house from the local clerk. And as a person who knows what does it mean loss, he has a sense of the loss of others. And he has a mixed feeling. He has the right to get something from those who have more, but in the same time his feeling of guilt starts to work. Okay. And these conflicts make him part of the drama.
So it's an internal conflict as well as an external one.
Internal conflict, yes. And it's also, we adapted this character to the film with changes, but still this character inherited from the original story that kind of feeling of guilt.
Could you talk a bit about the women characters in the film?
Yeah, in the script, not really much these roles. So in the shooting with silence, especially the wife of the clerk is growing up just for she watching the situation and she understand the situation, but not really involve the women characters. I think in the beginning, also the young girl who.
But what about the bride?
The bride.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is bride is a really complicated character because she wants the shop. She wants
the drugstore
and the drugstore and she's not real love with the son of the clerk. So it's also I like this story because everybody has got a different point of view, and this changing is not a straight.
No, it's also a war drama. He was the bride of the soldier who was in Soviet war prisoner, and he just came back 1 week ago before the film time. The communist guy who became a communist in the Soviet war of prisonery. And he came back, and the bride realized that he is back, and he already in the process of the wedding with the son of the clerk. So it's a very, very special personal drama that takes place in the film, within the big drama. And it is a very typical situation, after-war situation, when somebody believes that his or her former lover died or disappeared, and he made a new love affair with somebody else.
The film is called 1945 and not Homecoming. Why did you change the title? You wanted to emphasize something?
Yeah, for me it's really important the year, because in Hungary about this year we learned 40 years. It was a wonderful year of the end of the war, and every April we celebrated 1945 and the Russian flags all over the countries, and it's a question, what does it mean 1945? So it's a provocation. And also I think the Homecoming was the previous title is maybe is not good for this story, because somebody think this Jews came from that village and they want to go back, and they want to back the houses or the property, and I think the idea of the script is much more interesting than, so much more complex.
So did that develop in the screenplay? I mean, in your original story, were the villagers as mistaken? I mean, they all think they're paranoid, right? They think that
they in the original story they don't know who these two Jews are, and they don't know in the film too.
No, but they assume the worst. They assume that they're coming for revenge.
They assume they come for some revenge. They assume they come as a legacy of somebody who belonged to the village, and they were sent there for a specific reason. And of course it starts to it's the starting point of their bad conscience starts to work. And we wanted to use this very strong, intense feeling in the film too, that nobody knows why they come back, and everybody has to some kind of bad conscience, and everybody has some bad deed or something that they have to count with.
Right.